Hello artists! For this project, we are going to continue our study of symmetry and balance. The supplies that we're going to be needing includes some construction paper, preferably the color black, a piece of white paper, a glue stick, scissors, and a pencil. I'm sure you noticed that I also have a white colored pencil. You do not need a white colored pencil for this project, but I will be using one so that you can see when I draw on the black construction paper. If you use a pencil, you should be able to see your lines as long as your room is well lit so that you can see the graphite reflect on the black paper. To get started, I am going to pull one piece of black construction paper from my little pad. If you have one like this that I might have given you or you picked up somewhere, you are going to need to tear out the paper. To tear, you want to flatten the spine out, find the paper you want to pull, and holding it on the side, you will slowly and carefully pull down. If you feel like it gets stuck at any point, you can try flipping it to the other side. To do our project, we are going to need to make a small square out of this black paper. What I'm going to do is very much like how we make our origami square. I'm going to take this side of my paper and line it up on the bottom. See this side? I'm taking my time and trying to line it up nice and neat. If you notice, my edges are neatly aligned and I should have an equal rectangle on the side. Take your scissors and cut that piece off. Here is my black square. Now, my square is a little bit larger than I would like it to be, but unfortunately, this is what we're going to work with because it's our easiest way of making sure that our square is actually square. If you have a ruler at home, you can measure and try and make your square 4 inches by 4 inches, but we're going to make this work for ourselves. What you should do next is we're going to take this square and try our best to line it up in the center of our white paper. I often say you need to eyeball it. You don't have to measure, though you could use your fingers, but you should be able to kind of see if the spaces are even. If you want to try and measure with your fingers, you could line up some of your fingers here. I have about 4 fingers width, and see if it's about the same on the other side. 2 and 2. That seems about right for me. So what you need to do is take your pencil and kind of just mark off the corners, because we'll be lifting this paper up and putting it back down quite often. There we go. Now, let's get back to talking about balance, symmetry, and positive and negative space. You may remember us doing some projects in the past with positive and negative space. Looking at this paper, the subject or the main thing that you should be looking at would be the black paper. That is our positive space, what the image is about. The negative space is the background or all of the white space around it. We also balanced this paper in the center. Balance means that it is equal on both sides. Our last project was all about symmetry, specifically radial symmetry, which means everything is even, working its way outward from the center. For this project, we will be working with regular symmetry, the balance of both sides. The specific name of this project is called a Notan, N-O-T-A-N. A Notan is a style of art that originates from Japan and can create some really beautiful and intricate designs. The design that I'm going to create with you today is going to be holiday themed or winter themed. You can do any design you want. But first, I would like for you to watch what I do so you can have an idea of what you would like to create on your own. To start, I'm going to take my white color pencil. Again, you could use a regular pencil. And I'm going to think about the edges of my square. What I'm going to be doing is drawing different designs that I will cut out and flip. I am also going to think about symmetry, and since I'll be flipping, I'm only going to be drawing half of my design. I think on this side, I'm going to create a tree. Do you see how I only drew half of my tree? I also want to make it look like my tree has some snow on it, because remember I said I wanted a winter theme. 1, 2, and 3. I'm trying to make my design large and simple because I will be cutting each and every one of these lines. On this side, I think I'm going to make half of a snowman. Maybe I'll add some buttons. And I'm going to draw the carrot coming straight down like that. The last piece I want to try to fit in is going to be some sort of a snowflake. Let's see how I do. Okay, here is my simple design. The next step will be to cut out each one of our pieces. I'm going to start with my tree. Make sure that when you are cutting, you are going slow and taking your time. Now I'm going to cut each one of these pieces, but I want to make sure I know which one belongs where. So as I cut it, I'm going to put each piece on the level that it belongs. If you know that using scissors is something that you need to work a little bit more on, you may want to practice making smaller cuts on a separate sheet of paper, or just draw simpler designs. You can also decide not to cut out certain shapes if you think you might have made it too intricate. This is going to be the middle one. As you cut, make sure that you're taking good care of the paper, as it's going to become more delicate as it gets smaller. There will be no scraps for the rest of this project. 1, 2, and 3. I'm going to make sure that my square lines back up in the corners, because it will not match over here. That's where my trunk is for my tree. What I am going to do is I'm going to put my pieces back where they line up as best as I can. And it will be challenging, but it will not be impossible. It's just a puzzle. Okay, now the first piece that we are going to flip out is going to be the tree itself. What you're going to do is pick up the tree, or whatever design you put, and line it up right up against where it flips the line of symmetry. Do you see how my tree trunk lines up with the corner and the tip of my tree lines up at the top here? It creates the whole outline of the tree. That's where I'm going to glue it. I'm going to open my glue stick, flip this back over to the side that needs to be glued, and as delicately as I can, I'm going to put a little bit of glue on the back. You want to be careful that you don't accidentally rip your piece, but if you do, it's not a big deal. Just glue it down in multiple pieces, just like a puzzle. I'm going to take this again. I'm going to flip it. Really make sure I line it up where it needs to go. Trunk down here. Top of my tree up here. And begin pressing it down. As 4th and 5th graders, you should have more control over your hands because as you're getting older, you've been practicing art. You've been practicing writing, drawing, maybe you play an instrument or some sports. Those are all different activities that strengthen the muscles in your hands. You know I talk about it all the time in art. Some of us have more practice than others, and that's alright. Okay, that's securely glued down. What we're going to do next is glue these little pieces so they don't get lost. You want to make sure that your pieces line up and are touching. Do you see how each corner is lining up? Let's glue them down. A little glue on the back, flip it and stick it. Flip it and stick it. Flip it and stick it. If you see a piece popping up, pull it up a little, add a little glue, and press it down. Okay. Take a look at the balance and symmetry between the black and the white. We've created a whole tree with snow, but there's this playful sense where the black and the white together work as both positive and negative space. Remember how before we said that the black paper was the subject and the white paper was the background? That's happening here. Subject, background, positive, negative. But here, it's the opposite. We have the subject, the background, positive, and negative. You see, that's what's so cool about these types of designs, these Notans. They are so playful with balance and the positive and negative that they almost create an optical illusion. I'm going to fast forward through the rest of this video of me working with cutting out each piece and flipping it. Feel free to go with one of the ideas that I have here, maybe trying out all of my ideas or doing something completely different. You can even make just shapes going around, like triangles, squares, circles, hearts, or you can create organic shapes. Organic shapes are just wiggly and wobbly shapes that don't necessarily represent anything, but could just be unique. Try creating shapes within other shapes, like how we did buttons and eyes or the snow on mine. I will also post examples of different Notans, both simple and advanced, for you to see. I hope you have fun with this project and really strengthen those skills with cutting, gluing, and neat craftsmanship. Have a great day.